Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talking Games with Kellie and Andrew. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Kellie.
So, Kellie, off air, you were just telling me, and I just feel like, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I feel like the audience deserves to know this. You were telling me that Sonic Frontiers was going to be the God of War killer. So I just want to do, now that we're on the air, I was hoping you could explain your rationale to Sonic Frontiers being, as you said, definitively, wholly, and without exception better than God of War Ragnarok for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 home systems.
Yeah,
Can you explain yourself?
Yeah, this completely verifiable information that I have definitely 100% said before we started recording. I have a lot of faith in Sonic Frontiers and the way that it looks and the way that the gameplay looks. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to just assert my opinion right now and say that God of War Ragnarok, what are they saying about it? DLC could have made it 2 years ago. I don't know. Sonic Frontiers is a new frontier, if you will.
For gaming.
For gaming. So, we'll see who's eating their words at the end of 2022.
Yeah, we only have a few more weeks till those two games come out and kill each other.
Are they coming out on the same day?
One day apart.
Oh, okay.
Because God of War's coming out on a Wednesday, like a dunce.
That's weird.
It's because the 9th of November is like a Norse holiday. So they're like, oh, it's coming out on a Norse. And it's like, shut up. Release it on a Tuesday.
Shut up.
Everything comes out Tuesdays or Fridays, except Mario and Rabbids is coming out on a Thursday, which makes me maybe even madder.
Yeah, that is peculiar.
But as a side note, because this isn't a full news story, but they did release a tiny bit of God of War gameplay, Ragnarok, on Game Informer.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it, and it looked good. It looked technically incredible. It also looked identical to the last game to me. And yes, it has new mechanics and weapons probably, and there's a bunch going on and there's new enemies. I am so disappointed though. I'm probably going to play it. It's probably going to have a great story. It's going to be a good game. But we switched generations. We're on PS5. And because this game is cross-gen, I just feel like it can't do any better. Because that first God of War game pushed the PS4 to its absolute limits, right? What else can they do?
Yeah, I'm watching it now. You don't think it looks better?
I think it looks a little bit more polished, but it doesn't look like 5 years and another generation later to me.
Yeah, I guess I would agree. It does sort of feel, I don't know. You're right. It has been 5 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like the easiest equating to make is Ratchet and Clank from 2016 versus Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart from 2021. I think that is a generational leap.
Yeah.
It is a true change. It looks incredible. It looks way better. This looks good. It looks great, okay? I don't want to make it sound like I'm anti-God of War. I'm excited to play it, genuinely. And I loved God of War 2018, even if I think it's overblown a little bit. I just am a little sad because I think if this was just a PS5 game, I think we would be gobsmacked by what they would show us.
Yeah.
Godsmack.
Yeah, I do sort of feel like this is a little bit straddled by I don't know if straddled is the right word. I do think that this is a little bit held back.
Yeah.
This is a weird bit of gameplay to show off, honestly. It's super random. I guess it's probably the most non-spoilery gameplay they could have shared. I
know at this point it feels very apparent that they're holding back things, not because it's not finished or doesn't look good, but because they want people to just experience this game as pure as possible.
I don't think I like the UI. I don't know.
That's fair.
It doesn't look, I feel like the one from the first game, not the first game, but the 2018 version looked better.
Did you see the new Rick and Morty advertisement?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was it also sent to you by somebody evil?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I
no,
had
it
it
was
sent
not.
to me. Okay, I had it sent to me by a friend of the show who I now would consider enemy of the show, Cameron. I didn't. I hate Rick and Morty.
It looks.
I really don't like it, and there's an ad for God of War that's like Rick and Morty. It is Rick and Morty.
Oh. You know, I
Oh,
thought
did you
this
not
whole
see
time
that?
you were referring to that little bit of gameplay we saw of High on Life. What's it called?
Oh no, I meant there is an advertisement for God of War that is Rick and Morty talking, and like Rick shaves his head, or Morty. Which one's the one with Spiky?
That's Rick.
Rick shaves his head and paints red on his face, and then they go to the God of War dimension, and he picks up the axe, and he's like, and other weapons that you can't see because spoilers.
Yeah.
And I was just like mad because I'm like, this is stupid. I don't like Rick and Morty, and I don't understand this advertisement. And I was suffering from a severe migraine last night, and I was like, this is worse than my migraine.
Wow.
But if you want to play God of War Ragnarok on a PlayStation 5 that you don't yet have, and you live somewhere that's not the United States of America, I have bad news. Your price is going to be higher now. PlayStation is raising the price of the PS5 in all major territories except the US by about $50. Obviously, because different territories have different currencies, there's a lot of different price changes, but Canada, Europe, Japan, all getting price hikes on the PlayStation 5. How do you feel about this, Kelly?
I mean, it's unfortunate. It's already such an expensive console. I don't know. I guess I feel like to me, $50 is like, oh, it's $50. Like, that's a lot, but it's not like 100. But I don't know why 100 is like that threshold of being too much for me, because $50 is a lot. And I think that this is unfortunate. I understand that the demand is really high still and the supply is still low. So I guess I can understand trying to up the price to sort of close the gates a little bit, but
I think that's exactly, you hit the nail on the head, though. I think a lot of people view it as, oh, $50 isn't that much. It's not $100, and they know they can just raise it by $50 without creating too much of a stir. If it went up to $600, that sounds so much worse, and I think a lot of people would view it as such.
yeah, especially since it's been out for, 2 years now. It's like usually after a certain amount of time, the price goes down, or a better console is introduced, a better version of the same console is introduced, and that is when the price goes down on the old one. But there is no better version. I feel like barely anybody even has a PS5 at this point. But yeah, I guess what it is that it's just too much. Too many people want one, and there's just not enough. So I just don't know.
It's funny because I think about like when we started college in 2015. Well, you started 2014. When we started college in 2015, that was 1 year after the PlayStation 4 came out, right? Oh no, PlayStation 4 was 2013, right? Within 2 years, everybody had one,
Yeah.
Nobody in the dorm where we lived, that I lived, you didn't live in the same dorm as me. No one in the dorm I lived had a PlayStation 3. Everyone had a PS4.
Yeah.
And now I think about people who have PlayStations, and so many more people still have their PlayStation 4s because it's just hard to get a PS5.
Yeah.
Things are a lot different now.
Or they
And,
switch to Xbox.
Yeah, because you could get one.
Yeah, because it's a lot easier.
Yeah. But it's just weird. The PlayStation world that we live in right now is quite peculiar.
It is. It is. It's a big purchase if you are thinking of buying a PlayStation 5 and you're not in the US. I mean, it's still a pretty big purchase if you're in the US, but you know what else is a big purchase? Is
I do. Do you want to tell me?
Yes. So those we know so well, NetEase, the Chinese game publisher, has acquired Quantic Dream. Quantic Dream, most notably known for Heavy Rain, Detroit, Become Human. Beyond Two Souls, the David Cage studio, for those of you who are more familiar with that horrible Frenchman.
That sounded bad.
He is horrible, and he's a Frenchman, so.
That is correct. Not arguing. Just anyway.
But David Cage basically said, we've been trying to be acquired or have had discussions around acquisition for like the past 25 years, which is absurd.
Oh. Nobody wants to buy David.
Nobody wants to buy Quantic Dream. First of all, these games are extremely expensive to make because not only are they like almost completely mocapped, but they're always led by actors and actresses who are expecting a certain amount of pay versus voice actors, which are expecting a much smaller amount of pay. So basically, they were just saying that this offer met their expectations of, financially and also maintaining editorial independence, quote unquote.
David Cage can still be horny.
Exactly. So what does this mean? I don't really know. There's a new Star Wars game coming out, Quantic Dream Star Wars game, and I mean, who knows how many years, but
12. Probably 12.
12 years. Yeah, probably. So we'll see. I mean, I don't care much for Quantic Dream games. The only one I really enjoyed was Detroit, and that's only because I liked the just one character and his sections of the game. All the other sections really fell flat for me. So I don't really care so much about this news. It's just another thing that, these big Chinese companies are just sort of like eating up the market. But this felt weird to me. This felt random because Quantic Dream is not a small studio.
Mm-mm.
And it's not like mobile games or like I said, they're not small. So it felt significant to me that this was like one of the first like big studios that they had really acquired.
Yeah, it feels like this isn't with the intent of making like cheap mobile games.
Yeah.
Although I feel like, again, this is similar to like when that Capcom exec left for NetEase. It feels almost like NetEase might have a plan to make like real video games versus Tencent making money machines. And this kind of contributes to that hope that NetEase is not going to be as evil, if you will. I don't care as much about Quantic Dream either, but like I do try to keep a clear head about the fact that this is bad, and I don't like game studios being bought like this, even if it's a studio I don't particularly care about. Also, in my brain, I knew Quantic Dream wasn't owned by PlayStation, but my brain was like, but they are.
Me too.
And now it's like, never mind. I guess that just was never the case, and my brain is wrong.
I thought they were owned by Sony. I thought they were as well. Just because I feel like, wasn't Beyond Two Souls a PlayStation exclusive?
All their games were. Detroit got moved to PC eventually, but Beyond, Heavy Rain, and Detroit were all PlayStation on launch. And I think is Heavy Rain and Detroit, all of them are on PC now, I think. But they were distinctly not.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. A game that you still will be able to play on your PlayStation, though, is Call of Duty. Microsoft has confirmed that they have plans to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for years. That is in quotes, beyond their current agreements. So, realistically, their current agreements probably lasted till 2023. We won't know those numbers for sure, but probably another 2 years or so of Call of Duty coming to PlayStation on the current agreements. It would have been completely, I want to say reasonable. No, it's not reasonable. It would have been understandable for Microsoft to pull the plug on PlayStation Call of Duty as early as 2024. but now they have confirmed they have years planned ahead. And I think it probably is just looking at the raw numbers and being like, how many people would buy an Xbox if we took it off PlayStation versus how much money would we make just selling it on PlayStation, and realizing that those millions and millions of PlayStation copies are worth a lot.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this. Call of Duty is one of those games that, like, if you don't play games, you could probably still play Call of Duty. It has mass appeal, and it has for a very long time. I don't think it's particularly earned it, just because a lot of Call of Duty games are really mediocre and subpar, but most people buy them for the multiplayer anyway. So yeah, I think it would be very shocking if they were suddenly to be like, psych, it's an exclusive. So this makes sense to me, in the interest of making as much money as possible. These types of things make sense to me.
I think every other Activision property would make sense to me on Xbox exclusively. Like if they made Crash 5 or whatever next year, and that was exclusive to Xbox, that would make sense to my brain. If they made a new Tony Hawk, I don't think they will, but if they made like a new Tony Hawk, or if they made a new, Diablo 4, I would be pretty surprised if Diablo 4 was on PlayStation.
Yeah. See, it's interesting you bring up Crash, though, because I always associate Crash with PlayStation.
I mean, that was his home.
Naughty Dog and...
Yeah, they own it.
Yeah.
But
interesting.
They don't own it.
Wow.
Also, I want a correction. Diablo 4 is coming to everything. I had a feeling that I was wrong, but Diablo 4 is coming to all consoles. I think that was in development way before this happened. So.
Yeah, I feel like that game's been in development for a long time.
Yeah.
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 I think we're gonna forge on ahead.
Thanks.
The next news
I needed to get out of that loop because I wouldn't have known how to get out.
As we know, Halo Infinite is finally getting its Forge mode. You'll never believe when it launches.
Oh my god! Wait! Is it the same day as? Hang on. Wait. Oh my god! What?
The biggest
so
day
funny.
of the year, November 8th, 2022. Halo Infinite is finally getting its Forge mode, which will be an online campaign co-op. Oh no, I'm sorry, which will be the online mode. And the online campaign co-op campaign. How many times can I say online campaign co-op? It's coming out the same day. But the split screen co-op that they were talking about was like, sorry, we're not doing that anymore.
Boo.
Which is very unfortunate because I feel like it was a fun bit of nostalgia for Halo fans, because that's kind of, the beginning of everything is the couch co-op, but it's unfortunate.
It feels crappy.
I don't know many
like
games
got
that
canceled.
even have couch co-op anymore. I feel like the last game I played that had couch co-op was WarioWare.
I mean, games that don't need to split the screen in half have a lot easier time these days.
That's true. Yeah. I mean,
Like
I
Mario
guess
3D World and
the Quarry was kind of a co-op thing. It was just here's the controller, here's the controller, here's the controller.
I wish there was more couch co-op.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like I said, it's kind of a nostalgic, like, this is how we used to do things kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's better.
Yeah.
I like playing things on the couch with my friends.
In a cooperative manner.
But I guess it doesn't really matter since it's coming out the same day as Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah.
I just had it in the sheet as November. I didn't even notice that it was the same day.
Well, I thought it was that date keeps sticking out to me. Because I feel like there's just so much happening on November 8th, but
Yeah. It's a lot. Something that will not be happening November 8th. Unless it does. I don't think it will. Assassin's Creed Mirage has been revealed. It'll have a full gameplay reveal next week, September 10th at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. It looks to be very, it's going to be the Prince of Persia.
yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but...
I feel like, you know what I think Ubisoft should do and what would make them a lot of money is to just remake like 1 and 2 and 3.
Especially
Like
two,
the
yeah.
Ezio trilogy, I feel like they should remake. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these new Assassin's Creed games just fall really flat because it's just like it's getting very trite. And I feel like they keep sort of like revisiting. I don't know. I think they should really do something like very different. We've done a lot in
Japan.
Europe. We're starting to do a lot in like I don't really know what this game is, where it's set. It looks
it's
to be
Egyptian.
Middle Eastern of some sort.
Yeah, I think it's Egypt.
Egypt, which was what
Odyssey,
Origins
right? Yeah.
was in.
Which one? Odyssey is the one
Odyssey
that's
is
set in
the
Greece, right?
Yeah. I think it would be cool if they started to do like South America or like Eastern Asia. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these settings are just getting sort of reused because it's easier to sort of reuse concepts and assets. But I don't know. I mean, who knows? You know, I feel like they're always trying to be like, this new Assassin's Creed game is going to be so different than the last 10 you played. And it's like, but it's not. It's not going to be different.
I kind of assumed, and I'm not like into with the Assassin's Creed world, so I'm definitely wrong. But I kind of assumed we were going to see Infinity next, which is that like live, the Fortnite one, which like I still have the understanding that it will play like an Assassin's Creed game, but just like have an organic world, which is a cool idea, but I don't know if I trust them to do it. We'll see. I just assume I was surprised to hear about this when I was like, oh, I really thought Infinity would be the next thing we heard about.
Yeah.
When do you think this game will come out, though? Because I genuinely don't even have a guess, so I'll let you handle that.
I think this one will come out in 2024.
4?
Yeah.
When was the last one, though? Valhalla was
21?
what, 2020?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
No, because it came out with the PS5, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how long Assassin's Creed take anymore, because it was so distinctly annual for so long.
Yeah. You know what Assassin's Creed I really liked? I liked 3. It was different.
Is it because America is the best place in the world?
No, I just felt like the story was interesting. And I liked Connor. I thought he was a really good protagonist. I know people didn't like him as much as Ezio, but of course they didn't.
I played Assassin's Creed 1 many years ago, and I said, this is terrible. So I shelved it and skipped to 2. Loved 2. Played the crap out of that game. And then started Brotherhood? What comes after 2?
I think it's Brotherhood and then
Revelations. Okay,
and
I started
those are all
Brotherhood.
the Ezio games.
I started Brotherhood and instantly went, wow, this is the exact same thing, and quit immediately. And that is my experience with the Assassin's Creed series.
Yeah. I played
in its entirety.
Yeah. I've done those. And then I played Odyssey for a little while. I didn't really like it. I couldn't really tell what they were trying to do. I feel like the tone is just off in Assassin's Creed games. I don't know. And what was the one with the twins? Syndicate? What was that one called? The British one?
I think you're right. That's Syndicate, right?
I think
Unity.
So. Unity. Syndicate. Is that a real thing? Assassin's Creed Syndicate?
Isn't that a TV show or something?
Syndicate. Yeah. Syndicate. That was
What is it?
the one with the twins.
Oh, that was the French one, right?
No. Syndicate was the one with Evie and Jacob. They're twins. That was the first one you could play a girl in. Unity is, well, the first like main.
Oh, Syndicate's a direct sequel to Unity.
Yeah, Unity's.
So they're both British.
It doesn't even matter anymore. There's so many, dude. What's the point?
Let's just move on. I don't even know what we could contribute to the conversation at this point.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it next week when we see it, probably.
I'm just waxing nostalgic at this point. Much like Netflix trying to wax the Resident Evil fans, which unfortunately did not work because It was bad. So Netflix
Hey.
said, we're canceling Resident Evil, the series, which is actually very interesting because I thought that Netflix put a lot of money into it in terms of
Put
like
a lot of money.
marketing too. And yet nothing. So the new Assassin's Creed series has been canceled. Netflix has
You mean
opted not to order a second season.
You mean Resident Evil?
What did I say?
Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah, sorry, Resident Evil.
I didn't know if there's like some subline to the story that I didn't see, and I was like, wait.
No, it's sad though because it was bad, but it also didn't really stand a chance. It was Stranger Things was still really big at the time. I mean, that was the end of Stranger Things 4 was July 1st, and then Resident Evil came out like 2 weeks later. And it just, I don't know, and it just wasn't good. And I feel like because you watched it, didn't you?
Yeah, I watched 3 episodes, and I kind of liked it. I saw potential, but I also watched it miss its own potential several times.
I feel like if they maybe had like stronger star power, I feel like it could have made it. Like if they had a stronger cast to incentivize more watching. I just feel like a lot of them were unknowns.
And Lance Reddick was like, people kind of know who that is, but also he was like not a main character. I mean, he was a main character, but he wasn't in it that much.
Yeah.
From what I watched.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know. You don't really, to me, like Resident Evil just doesn't suit like a TV show right now. I feel like in the 90s, the movies worked because they were stupid and they were camp and they were fun. And you got to watch Mila Jovovich like slay zombies in like a cocktail dress. But every like new Resident Evil like media outside of the games has just been like, we're taking ourselves very seriously right now. And that's just not how the world is. It doesn't work like that.
No. It was a disappointment. I'm not sad that it's canceled. I think it's sad for the people who worked on it that it got canceled so swiftly. Because that was like, what month is it? That was a couple months ago. That's not really a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I guess this would probably be the time when they started working on a new season. So they probably had to decide which way it was going to go. Oh, well. Before we get into what we played this week, we have a very exciting word from our co-sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Sentry, a new esports organization from Pittsburgh. Their team runs tournaments for Smash and other video games. Find them on Twitch at twitch.tv/PGH Sentry. That is twitch.tv/PGHSENTRY. Or go to the website smackcentury.gg. smaksentry.gg to find more info about attending or viewing their content. If I'm not mistaken, and again, I will reach out to my contacts. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're going to drop Smash on November 8th, and then they will have a line of televisions, and people will be playing Sonic Frontiers as fast as possible.
What?
If I'm not mistaken. I don't want to misrepresent them. But I'll confirm. I'll be back next week, and I will let you know if Sentry indeed will become Sentry Frontiers.
The new frontier.
Stupid. Kelly, speaking of Netflix and Netflix video game programs, Tekken Bloodlines came out. Anime version of Tekken 3. I watched a hefty chunk of it. I did not quite finish it because I've been busy as a bee and also trying to play video games a whole lot lately. Quick impressions. The art style takes a minute to get used to because it's 3D. It's like that 3D anime style.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, but like I think about other 3D anime like Beastars that like really blends the line really nicely. This does not blend the line as nicely. But as I watched more and more, I kind of got used to it and started to appreciate it a bit. because like specifically in fight scenes, they were able to capture the general flow of actual Tekken really well. So I think I get why they did that for that purpose only. The scenes without fighting look a lot more janky, but I think it's well acted. Its story is interesting enough. It is not surprising, especially if you have any knowledge of Tekken, but I think it's well executed. It's really, really short, so if you're interested in it, it's only going to take you a couple hours to watch the whole first season. And because this isn't a big budget live action show, I feel like a second season seems pretty inevitable. I think it might drop the Bloodlines title and call it something else, but we'll have to wait and see. I do suggest it, though, if you have an interest in Tekken or the Tekken story. This is a good way to consume it. And it's available on Netflix now. Another thing that I played this week was KeyWe. That's spelled like key, like the thing you lock your door with, and we, like you and I, we. You play as two little kiwi birds, and you're doing little tasks. You're working in a mail room. You're working to send letters and packages, to send messages to people, to write letters to people. It's adorable. It is a couch co-op game. If you've played games like Moving Out, like Overcooked, you know what you're getting into. I think it's very well executed. It's simple. It doesn't the mechanics are very simple, while the challenges that you're facing are semi-complicated, and they get more and more complex as you move on. But it's not that hard, in a good way, though. You feel like you're overcoming the challenges super well, but that's kind of just the flow of the game, especially if you're playing with somebody that you're in sync with. You don't even have to like talk to each other. You just know what you have to do. And then when it comes together where you have to actually synchronize, you just start chatting. I was playing it couch co-op. You can play it online. It's available on PlayStation's Extra, PlayStation Plus Extra, or Premium. So if you have either of those services, it's available for free. I suggest that very highly. I think it's adorable. It's pretty short. I played about an hour and some change, and we got about halfway through the game, me and my partner. I paid for a physical copy because my partner showed me a video of the game. I was like, this is adorable, we should play it. I'm like, yes. And then that next day I saw it on sale on Amazon for like $12, and I'm like, wow. So I ordered it, and then I smacked it in my console because I knew it had a free PlayStation 5 version, and then it went to upgrade, and it just took me to the PlayStation Plus page, and I was like, oh, this game's free. And I've never done that. Like, I've never bought a game that I could have had access to for free, which is funny because like I played so much Game Pass last year, and I felt real dumb. But hey, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Big. Okay, yeah, I know. Big game I played this week. Inscryption. Just came out on PlayStation. It has been on PC for a while. How do I describe Inscryption? It's by the creator of Super Pony Island, which is a subversive game from 2017. It is a card game. It is you and an opponent and a line of 4 cards on each of your sides. I'm not going to explain the card mechanics because I think that's something you can just see from watching. If you have an interest in this game, before I get deeper into it, if you have an interest in this game, don't go Googling it. Watch like the trailer on the PlayStation page if you have to see it. That's fine. But I wouldn't recommend looking into it too much because there are some major elements that I think are better experienced blind. This, like I said, is a card game. It has a lot of interesting world building. The very beginning of the game, a couple of the cards that you have in your hands start talking to you. And they're basically implying that like you're stuck here and you don't know why and you don't know how to get out. And this is not where you want to be. And the visuals are very upsetting, but deliberately. They're not scary per se. If you're like sensitive to horror, you can still play this game. It's not scary, but it is peculiar. It is unpleasant at times.
Would you say it's spooky?
I'd say it's spooky, but not scary.
Okay.
This is a great Halloween game, actually. So maybe wait till next month if you're really thinking about it. But this is a really, really challenging game to talk about because there's so much going on underneath the surface that I will not tell you because it is so incredibly interesting, but only because I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew it was subversive. I had been told it was subversive. I had heard it compared to certain other subversive games like Undertale and like Doki Doki. It's different than those for sure, but it did subvert. It's so hard to talk about because I just sound so stupid because I'm sitting here like, it subverted my expectations. But overall, I thought it was a really incredible game. The mechanics are really fun, so even while you're experiencing this peculiar story, the mechanics never get old. I kind of almost wish, because the game is like a roguelike, I kind of wish there was like a story-free... So there's a mod for the game that is just DLC that includes like a story-free roguelike version of this game where you don't have to worry about the story, you just play the game as it is. I almost wish like it was longer and had a lot more depth because it's a really good... It has good mechanics. But I do think the game, story-wise, kind of overstayed its welcome by just like a little bit. But that didn't hurt the overall quality. I just kind of wanted it to be over in the last couple hours. It took me like about 8 to 9 hours to see everything this game had on offer as far as like main story content. This is such a boring review to listen to, I'm sure. I'm just listing facts.
No, it's
like
okay.
This is like an objective review where I'm just listing facts and not stating opinions other than I loved it. And it did subvert my expectations. And I think it's worth your time. It's also cheap. It's only $20. $20 for like an 8-hour experience with a lot of fun gameplay mechanics. I think that's worth it. It's real spooky, but not scary. Check it out.
You just want it to be spoiler-free and fun for your audience.
Yeah, because normally I'm okay saying like, not spoilers, but like kind of giving like plot synopses and like giving you an idea of what you're going to be doing start to finish. But like this game, I'm like, nope, there are cards and it's weird. And sometimes the cards will talk to you. That's all I'll say.
No biggie.
And it's real good. It's real good. It's reasonably priced. It's available on PlayStation now. If you have PC, it's been on there for a while. Get on that. It's probably a little better on PC because there's some mechanics involving like the mouse that they translated to PlayStation pretty darn well, but I'm sure just playing it in its original form would be a little better. Yeah, that's really all I can say. It's really hard to talk about, but I love it. It's probably going to end up on some Game of the Year lists for me, which also we have to start thinking about because it's September.
Ugh.
Oops.
Don't
I forgot about
say
that.
it.
But that's my week. I played games this week.
That's great. I played games, but they're all games that I've talked about before, so I really got nothing for you all. I have been playing Dead by Daylight, and I've been playing the new Project W chapter, which is...
Have you won?
What?
Have you been winning?
It's been kind of a mix. With Dead by Daylight, there is a significant difficulty between playing solo queue, like solo survivor, versus playing a survivor with friends because there's no voice chat. You can't communicate with the other survivors unless you're on like a call together, like a Discord call together. So there is like a significant difficulty gap. So it's been wins and loses. I feel like Dead by Daylight's one of those games that sometimes a loss feels good, sometimes it doesn't. You know, a loss can be defined as either, you know, you got killed in the match or you got away, but you didn't really do that much in the match. That could also kind of be like a personal loss just because you don't get as many points. So you don't, you know, prestige as much. The prestige system is kind of different in Dead by Daylight, but excuse me. But I've been playing the new chapter. It's about $12 on Steam. So if that's the price that you're willing to pay for Wesker and Ada Wong and Rebecca Chambers, then, you know, you do that if you're a Dead by Daylight player. If you're not, then I probably wouldn't play it. I probably wouldn't buy it.
Probably just play Resident Evil at that point.
Yeah.
Well, Kelly, we've done it. We had another week. It was successful. We talked about your most anticipated game, Sonic Frontiers.
Yes.
We talked about my most anticipated game, also Sonic Frontiers.
Yes.
I think maybe we should just call off the next 7 episodes until Sonic Frontiers is out.
Yeah.
Do you think that's probably best?
Yeah, I think I don't want to talk about anything except for Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, like that Halloween episode that you're probably excited about. Not happening.
Not happening.
Because that's the week before Sonic Frontiers.
Exactly.
All right, Kelly. All right, Kelly.
All right. Thanks
See, I was
for
waiting for
listening,
that.
everybody.
Yeah, I'm not willing to close out. You have to close out.
Oh, well, thanks everybody so much for listening to us. We really appreciate you spending your time with us. Can't wait to talk to you again next week, probably about Sonic Frontiers.
Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home.
This has been Talking Games with Kelly and Andrew, and we will see you. And we will see you.
Bring it home.
Next week. Same place.
Bring it home.
How do I bring it home? What do I say?
You've been bringing it home. You just have to do it faster.
I'm trying.
Before people...
It's hard. You're pressuring me. You keep going, bring it home, bring it home, bring it home. I'm bringing it home. I bring it home.
I'm going to cut myself saying that out. So it sounds like you were just getting real nervous for no reason.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody.
See you next week.
Bye.